Welcome back, gamers, to another Gamer Jooce episode. You know we always get straight on into the content, and it is no different today. 10 Valorant Facts. Number 10. It's free. Like League of Legends, the intense Valorant is free to play. This is one of the many factors that launched Valorant into stardom in the leagues of other free-to-play shooters like Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone. And it also means it can compete with games like Overwatch and PUBG, who, despite being some of the best games in the market, charge players and charge them even more for microtransactions. As long as your device meets the minimum system requirements, which we'll be talking about in a little bit, so stay tuned, you can download and install the game. The only times you're likely to encounter having to get out your wallet is if you want to purchase one of the remarkable weapon skins. We're stressing the fact that these skins are purely for cosmetic purposes, but we have to admit that they're pretty awesome. They feature animations and sound effects that elevate your gaming experience. In Valorant, you can also purchase a paid battle pass. These passes contain weapon skins, premium skins like Elderflame, player cards, and titles. Again, none of these affect the gameplay, as Riot Games, the developers, have mentioned that competitive integrity is their #1 priority. Number 9. It's satisfying but punishing. It's safe to say Valorant isn't a casual game. It requires a certain intensity to be able to fully immerse yourself in its strategies, mind games, and skills. We may be able to call it intense, but one thing you should know is that it's incredibly punishing. You know that saying when something is easy to learn, but near impossible to master? Valorant falls under that umbrella. Its complexness takes hours of gaming and concentration to be able to play like a pro. Valorant isn't a game that you can play safely without taking risks. You won't get far, and you're also likely to die if you run around without thinking ahead and without a strategy. Balance is key, and being tactical is the one thing that is a must-know about this game, especially since you're likely to encounter experienced players who are used to FPS games. Number 8. Valorants Demise. For our number 8 fact, we're going to talk about one of the most important parts of a game, and it's the layout. Even if a game gets everything right, if the layout isn't good enough, it can deter people like nothing else. Valorant currently features a total of 4 maps. Each map comes with a unique feature. Ascent features metal doors. Bind has teleporters, where one teleporter teleports you to the attacker's side of showers, and the other takes you to the attacker's side of hookah. The Haven map works best for long-range engagements, as the sewers setting calls for close-quarter combat. Then, we have Split and Icebox maps that both have special ropes that let agents ascend or descend silently. Lastly, an extra map comes in the shape of a practice space, allowing you to hone in on your battle skills. These maps are designed to help make the transition of new players from first-person shooters to a game that's more tactical. The maps are relatively easy to navigate, and you'll find yourself memorizing the choke points in no time, as well as every corner in the game. However, these 4 maps are Valorant's biggest flaw, which leads us to our next point. Number 7. Valorant's biggest flaw. As we know, as of the making of this video, Valorant only has 4 maps. Remember how we said you'll find yourself memorizing the layout of the maps relatively quickly? The thing is, if you play enough, the game ends up feeling repetitive and shallow, and the fact that each map isn't that much different from the others makes matters worse. Seasoned players may have fixed positions. They might have already somewhat perfected their strategies by the time a slightly less knowledgeable player encounters them. It might not even be a purposeful move, it just becomes instinct at this point. To say it's frustrating is not an exaggeration. When you keep encountering the same molly, smoke, and choke points, as well as the same corner clear angles, it's hard to come up with new strategies. This doesn't only reflect on your gameplay, this affects streamers, as well as watching the same maps doesn't make for an exactly thrilling experience. YouTubers and gamers like Summit1G have complained about this issue. Recently, like 2 months ago on August 5th, 2020, Riot announced they'll be adding a deathmatch mode, which is a major improvement. This mode has 14 players entering a free-for-all match that lasts for 9 gripping minutes. The first player that's able to accomplish 40 kills, or whoever has the largest number of kills when the minutes are over, wins. Abilities are disabled during this mode, and you spawn with a random agent you have previously unlocked. Number 6. The requirements. We're adding this fact because we know a lot of people struggle with low-end PCs or not having the system requirements that these big title games require. And Valorant deserves recognition for its relatively easy requirements. These requirements might change in the future, but as of now, Valorant requires a Core 2 Duo, 4GB of RAM, and Intel HD 4000 graphics. That means that as long as you have a decent internet connection, you can enjoy these intense 5v5 games without sacrificing much of the graphics or overall aesthetics. Number 5. It has a very toxic community. We're not trying to drive you away from Valorant, as it's truly a phenomenal game, but this is something we wish someone could have warned us about. The community behind Valorant, unfortunately, has more than its fair share of cheaters and toxicity. Just in its beta testing, the developers of Valorant banned over 8,800 cheaters. This means that the developers are vigilant, but they can't ban every rude player. Valorant isn't the only game with toxic players, but since it predominantly uses voice chat, the voice chat makes it easy to encounter unsavory characters. Even streamers face these issues, though their largest concern is that people watch their stream and take advantage of knowing where they're coming from. Number 4. Its origins. Believe it or not, Valorant wasn't always Valorant. When the game was first teased in October of 2019, it came under the name Project A. The geniuses who developed and published it are Riot Games. If you recognize that name, it's because they're the same team behind the legendary League of Legends. If there ever was an Avengers team of developers, Valorant has it. A few of those who worked in creating it include Trevor Omleski, one of LoL's former designers. You also have Salvatore Garozzo, who is a map designer in Counter-Strike Global Offensive and a former professional player. Former art and character designer for Half-Life 2 and Team Fortress 2 is the art director behind Valorant. There's a reason this game rocks so much. Number 3. It's a record-breaking game. Valorant had a closed beta period with limited access from April 7th, 2020 until it was officially released on June 2nd, 2020. During the first day of this iconic beta launch, Valorant boasted having the second most concurrent viewers for any game in Twitch history. It had 1.7 million viewers watching across dozens of streams. Riot Games have only had one other game with the same record-breaking history, and it was League of Legends during the 2019 World Championship Final, when 1.73 million tuned in to watch. Number 2. It's the best of 3 worlds. To put it in a few short words, it's widely known that Valorant is inspired by some of the best and most popular team-based shooter games. A lot of its features borrow aspects from games like Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, and Overwatch. If you loved all of these previous games, then Valorant will knock all your expectations out of the park. It brilliantly gathers all the best parts of these games and adds its own unique twists. In addition, the developers at Riot Games have said before that they not only aim for competitive integrity, but they also wanted to take on and improve on the worst shooter game problems. Take for example its most recent update patch. Valorant answered the call for fans and developed a left-handed gun model option. Players get to switch from the typical right-handed guns to be more comfortable and precise. We can't wait to see what Riot Games will solve next. Number 1. It's the newest addition to the eSports scene. And for our last fact, and honestly most exciting fact, we bring the news that Valorant is the newest to join the eSports scene. It's expected to become one of the biggest and most watched games. Once upon a time, League of Legends had to change its visual design to allow players to understand what's happening on the battlefield and allow it to grow as big as it did in esports competitions. Valorant got their design right from the get-go. The maps are clean and allow players and viewers to easily view what's happening. The agent's abilities, animations, and effects are also clear and entertaining. And because Valorant is similar to other successful esports games like Counter-Strike, Valorant's career is set. The fact that its developer studio is Riot Games, who made the biggest esport in the world, League of Legends, doesn't hurt. This means that they have the experience, formula, and a big enough fan base worldwide to launch Valorant into esports stardom. Riot Games is already on it. Nearly every major esports organization has a Valorant roster, and they've recently announced the launch of the Strike Arabia Valorant tournament for the MENA region, which can be streamed on YouTube, Appreciation Arabic Facebook, and Pullout channels. This tournament will take place from November 1st to November 25th and has Logitech as its main sponsor and official peripheral partner. The total prize pool for each sub-regional tournament is a whopping and incentivizing $10,000. Alrighty gamers, we hope you enjoyed the list because that's going to wrap it up. If you did in fact watch the video all the way through, we appreciate you so much, and we hope you enjoyed it enough to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell because we're always releasing more content. As always, we'll see you in the next one.